difficult as it is, because nobody likes to start over, but I believe we have to. I think we're at a point where we need to reevaluate and listen, and only time is going to allow us to do that. I think if we try to push it forward and meet the resolution date of January 14th, that would be a false attempt at listening, false effort. And I know that's not what this board is about.
I have, from the very beginning, wanted this plan to be attainable. And if that means that we have to be a bit more deliberate, I'm on board with that idea. I'm looking for a plan that changes people's minds. And I believe we can do that. We can go in that direction, but not in a week.
Mac, 1120 South Main, and I don't have comments, I have a question. I am still trying to figure out where we can find the notes, the minutes, etc. of the discussions that have gone on from the concerns that the public has already put forward. Because I keep being told they've been addressed, they've been discussed, but we don't know what the outcome of any of that was. I know I came with a lot of concerns, but to say that those have been addressed, I have not heard any feedback whatsoever, and I have no idea what has been discussed about what I've brought up, and I know there's a lot of people in the same boat. So are there minutes somewhere? Are there notes somewhere? Like, where, when you guys say they've been addressed, I don't think I understand what that exactly means. And I don't know if you can answer me now or if you've got to ponder that, but at some point, there's a lot of us that would like to see what the public has brought to you, and when you say it's been addressed, what exactly does that mean?
What you would have to do is contact me. I'd have to hear more specifically about what you've heard that somebody has told you has been addressed.
So I'm a little nervous. I don't think I particularly have a right to speak. This is only my third year in Princeton, and I'm not even sure that what I'm about to say agrees with most people, but listening to the discussion in the last 6 months, I was not convinced that the building was a great idea. And the fact that I'm not convinced meant something to me, because usually I'm in support of things like this. Oh, I am nervous. You'd think I wouldn't speak for a living. So the way it was presented was a great idea. I love the big plot of land you're picking. I love, consolidated schools. Everybody loves new things for kids. And I guess the way I heard it presented often was that there's no downside. Well, whenever you move or do something new, there's always going to be unexpected costs and downside, and it's going to be some challenges. So there's advantages to having consolidated, but I guess there's also advantages to having individual smaller schools. So I don't know. You guys are the experts. But the way it was sold reminded me a little bit about when you're buying a car and you get a $40,000 new truck. I mean, I have personally got a $40,000 truck, but they say you can have it for a little down and maybe $350 a month. And so the ads I saw were families of a $100,000 house will pay, I don't remember, you remember the number, $250 extra a year, something like that. So which sounds reasonable, but that's what it does. It gets you in the door. But not everybody will pay that. Some people obviously pay a lot more. And you don't want to lose any of those businesses or things that provide so many jobs if it ever pushed us over the edge. It's a really competitive market right now. Or there's some people who pay less. There's some people that don't pay anything. They're in subsidized housing, or they live in homes that are rented by the landlords, but the landlord couldn't raise the rent because the rents are set. So it's just, not everybody's going to have the same experience. And then I thought about the amount. In the paper, at least, it said $35 million bond request, which I assume included the fees, but it seems like the 20-year municipal bonds, the interest rates have been fluctuating a lot in the last 6 months. So 3 or 4%, I don't know what you expect, but either way you calculate it, it's going to end up costing us about $50 million.
Could introduce some overall cost savings, though marginal in terms of added cost to the taxpayer, and potentially address concerns over either effectively doing what we have or either buying what we need. Grades 3 through 8 is the right size. We know building something bigger is too much to ask up front. Something smaller leaves kids underserved and kicks the can down the road in dealing with rising maintenance costs and subpar educational conditions for all students. Now is the right time. Waiting until 2020 leaves us subject to a projected 3 to 5% increase in overall costs, potentially voiding any savings we would get through any further location scouting or other details disputed in that time. Simply put, if we wait, the taxpayer may be asked to pay an extremely similar amount, and we would get 2 fewer years of an exemplary education environment to show for it. We have found a lot of support in the community for voting on such a plan in April. To respect everyone's time, not all of us will speak individually, but if you've come tonight to show support for an April vote, please raise your hand. Thank you.
Sean Barron, 406 Elm Place. I'm a little nervous too, so. I stand before you today as a staff member, a member of the current referendum committee, a member of the original master plan committee, and as a longtime resident of this town. First, I would like to thank everyone on the board and the administration team for all of their hard work and dedication to the children of this community. You have all contributed countless hours toward a single goal, giving those children an adequate learning environment for today, tomorrow, and beyond. You've inherited the significant challenge in a time of great economic uncertainty and ideological divide. The gap in income inequality has widened astronomically in the past 30 years or so, and asking a small, rural community like Princeton to fund such a substantial project in a time of such volatility takes bravery, dedication, and perseverance. You did this knowing it would not be easy, but knowing it was the right thing to do. You did this because our children are worth it. In April of 1931, Logan School saw its first students walk through these very hallways. That was 88 years ago, and those children of yesteryear were worth it. In September of 1952, both Douglas and Lincoln buildings opened their doors for the first time to provide educational excellence to children who were now likely in their 70s, and those children were also worth it. All three of these buildings have served this community well over the years. However, none of them currently meet the needs of this community. They are no longer mechanically sound, nor do they, nor do they have the necessary and appropriate spaces needed to educate today's children, let alone the children of 2030, 2040, or 2050. At the December board meeting, several public statements were made that were either false, erroneous, or misleading. Other statements made that night implied that this school board and this administration team was essentially incompetent and fiscally irresponsible. In this current age of misinformation we all find ourselves in, I cannot let those statements go unchallenged. But rather than dispute each misstatement one by one, I would urge everyone in the community to seek out the actual facts and not rely on misinformed sources. I have been involved in this particular project from the very beginning, and as a member of the original master plan committee, I can attest firsthand that this board and this administration team has acted both fiscally and ethically responsible since day one. You have been transparent and open with every detail in your efforts to inform the public about the need for this project and your plans to address those needs.